past while I'm
You had
thinking.
been arguing with him for the last hour. Now your voice was weak from screaming over and over. It was a routine every night, and you were growing sick of it. You know how I feel about you being around these guys. And you do shit purposely to make me angry at you. It's like you want me to scream and yell at you like a madman. Tonight, especially, he was going berserk and you were getting tired. Usually, you would let him shout at you and cry later, but you have had enough tonight and not tonight. You were having the best time ever, but he came with his bullshit. Once again, what do I possibly do, huh? Please enlighten me. You yelled. Your eyes were wet and you were growing tired. So you were throwing it back like you weren't trying to flirt with him. He said, arms playing everywhere you scoffed. I was just dancing with Eve and he happened to be there. You said, you know I don't have to explain shit to you. This angered him. He stepped closer to you, raising his arm up to your neck, but not close enough to touch you. You're gonna have to if you are gonna be with me. I'm sick of putting up with your shit too. He growled. Then don't. I'm truly, deeply sorry that you were so controlling and I can't let a grown woman make choices of herself. With that, you pushed past him. He grabbed your arm tightly, sure to leave mark. Let me go, you yelled, exhausted and sobbing. You yanked yourself from him, and that drew him closer. He looked at you with an evil grin plastered on his face, his hand running to your arm to grip your face. You know, I don't like hurting you. You were so scared. His huge hand gripped your wrist tightly, his other hand coming to your neck to push you up against the near wall. Airways constructed. You flapped your barely free arm onto him as you felt your brain turn foggy. You are hurting me. You were able to croak as your eyes filled with water and you struggled to breathe. Shut up, he yelled, making you flinch. You choked broken sobs as he finally let up his grin, making you fail into the ground, gasping. As you struggled to catch your breath, he leaned down to your face level, hacking the carpet. And don't you think about leaving me, 'cause that ain't happening. As a matter of fact, give me your phone. He seethed. You weakly pointed to the counter where your phone lay, now buzzing with a call. Benny chuckled at the screen. Pathetic was all he bout about out before his demeanor switched against and he threw your phone as hard as he could across the room. You hearing the chatter from dining room, silently sobbing again. You sat on the floor, hopeless. You had to get out of that house. With no phone, money, or car, getting out of the house tonight would be even harder, especially with the alarms all over. Sitting up in the bed, looking out in the window, you felt those oh so familiar arm gripping your shoulder and caress your arm. Baby, I'm sorry. I didn't mean it. He softly spoke into your ear, pressing kisses down your shoulder blade. Don't fall for this. Not anymore. This scenario was way too familiar. He would argue with you, hit you, then tell you an abundance of half as apologies, always thinking things would be different. You fell back into his dangerous arms. Setting up yourself for the failure constantly. Not this time. So what did you do? You played the role, made it seem as if you have forgiven his behave ways. When you have been plotting how to save yourself from both of you, you let him lay you down on the bed, caressing your sides and showing you a smile, which you flashed back. Play the role, don't fall too deep, you thought, and almost reverted, falling back into his hands of the evil itself. You let him rub you until he fell asleep. You wonder how he could sleep so soundly knowing what he has done to you. Like, does this man have no conscience? You, on the other hand, couldn't get a wink of rest, let alone a whole 8 hours. Thinking about all the horrible things that have happened made you silently sob to the ceiling, just hearing a cry for help. After laying there for a good 10 minutes of sobbing and trying to get your breathing steady, you pulled yourself together and slowly pulled his arm and covered from your body, grabbing a backpack from the spare closet. You slowly tiptoed back to your shared bedroom for some random outfit, not caring what you got. You had to be gone tonight, and that's that. Slipping on some gym shoes, you grabbed your bag and never looked back. You shut the door silently, hoping that he wouldn't be awake and chase you after. A heavy sigh of relief left you with choked source of happiness, but only lasted for a moment. When you snapped back to reality and noticed that it was 2 a.m. and you had nowhere to go unless since you had no phone, you had to do something risky that might make people get the wrong idea. Showing up at your dear friend's house, barely the crack of dawn, shouldn't be such a bad idea, right? Well, your desperate mind didn't disagree. You headed east to your home, feet dragging across the sidewalk and watching around for predators. This dear friend of yours was Jungkook. You had sparked a friendship all the way back in the middle school. And even though connection was limited for the most part, you have always knew you would have each other. A 20-minute walk felt like 20 miles, but as soon as you reached his doorstep, you saw nothing has changed. The potted plants that you and other mates helped him plant some years ago were sitting on the ledges faithfully. Same exact curtains that hung in the windows were tied with a little white ribbon, now closed at dark. And even the wind chimes his mother got him as a moving in present sat in their same position in the right-hand corner of his front screen door. The nostalgia filled you, and you couldn't help but smile. You slowly made your way up to the porch and contemplated knocking. It was nerve-wracking, but as you did, left your feast to form a few knocks on the door. A wave of relief and fear flushed through you as you saw the living room light switch on. As soon as your knuckle hit the door, a shadowed slater walked to the door and in raspy voice said, "Who is it? And why are you at my door at 3 a.m.?" You couldn't help but chuckle. He still had his sarcasm. "That for sure, it's me," you said, and in a soft but exclamatory voice. He slowly opened the door, mouth slightly agape and eyes still small from sleep. He looked at you from your face, examining you head to toe. He knew something was up. Now, I'm no rocket scientist, but if someone shows up at someone's door at the crack of dawn with disheveled clothes, hair, and scars, he took his finger and moved some hair out of your face, uncovering a deep red bruise from the other night. You immediately hung your head, embarrassed and scared. Something is going on. You wanna tell me what's going on? His earnest words and soft, genuine tone made you fall to your knees and burst into tears on front of his porch. He came down to sit beside you, holding you in his arms. "Hey, it's okay. You're gonna be okay," he said while caressing your arms. "Come in the house. It's warmer. I'll make you some food, okay? He said in a reassuring tone. You looked up with a puffy eyes, nodding slowly. He helped you up and led you into his home, placing the tea kettle on the stove. He came to sit on the couch next to you, wrapping a grey throw around you. So, are you ready to talk? You looked at him, thinking too hard. How does he remember that nickname? He hasn't called me that since high school. For Christ's sake. You took a deep, shuddering breath. The one you get when you just finish crying but aren't sure you're done yet. I don't even know where to start. You let a nervous laugh, trying to get the subject to change for anything in the world, but watching his face watch yours so attentively, watching for changes in your expression, trying to read emotions, and listen to your story. You didn't want anything else but to spill your heart out for him. Not too much. Whatever you feel like sharing, there is no rule to how to let your feelings out, he said, showing his iconic heart-shaped smile. It was it warmed you up better than that bracelet. And with that, you got to talking. There was a sense of comfortability between you and him. Maybe from your history of being old friends, or maybe that you are tired of being kept with a nuzzle on. When you started crying, he held you. When you talked about something heavy, he held your hands in his grasp so you wouldn't hit anything your for fidget. He kept bringing his thumb to your cheek to wipe few straight tears, and through all that, he kept a smile on his face. After going without talking for what felt like hours and eternity, he finally spoke when he was sure you were done speaking. Well, what I think is simple. You should leave his and I should kick his ass before you do. You let out a weak laugh before looking back down at your lap. By all means necessary, do what you have to do. You smirked to yourself after quoting Malcolm X. He laughed with you as well. Then, getting up, you let out a come on, you can take the bed. I literally just finished the change the sheets and have barely been in it. So you'll be okay. I'm gonna get the couch. He offered, and before he could protest, he raised his hand. When he did that, there was no negotiations. Just do as I said. He crept to the bedroom he shoved you and sat down. Trying to sleep would have been hard, especially because of recurring nightmares. You wanted to shower and try to fight these red sleep demons, but before you knew it, you were drifting sleep to the soft morning light. You ended up sleeping pretty late. It was about 1 p.m. and the afternoon sun was blazing through the windows. You tiptoed downstairs in the bathrobe. Jungkook lent you. You smell the fresh food filling your nostrils. Upon arrival to the kitchen, there were plates of pancakes, eggs, sausage, and a glass of wine. Jungkook happened to see your shocked expression and took the initiative. What? You don't drink? To teach its own, I guess, he said sarcastically. Knowing the answer, you couldn't help but laugh, sitting down at the table, seated across from him, starting to dig into your meal. The meal was mostly silent until you and Jungkook started talking about miscellaneous things like your families and other random things. You got up to clean your plate and Jungkook followed behind. I got it, he said, gripping the plate and your hand from behind you. You looked up at him. You got on your tiptoes as far as you could and pressed your lips against his softly, letting the plate and fork drop into the sink. You wrapped your arms around his neck, pulling him down somewhat and dipping the kiss. As good as it felt, he couldn't do it to you. Hey, I don't think you're thinking right. You you just got out of his relationship. And I'm not trying to take advantage of you in this vulnerable place right now. You you had to cut him off. Oh, shut up, Cook. You pouted. Just keep kissing me. You leaned in for him to pull away. Are you sure? Yes. He threw his hand up in defeat. Okay, I'm just making sure. With that, he placed his lips on your again. Now holding your waist, you jumped onto him without warning, whispering bedroom into the kiss. A signal for him to take you there.